Hey, what is up, people? Skywalker Hendrix here, back with another video for you guys today. And today we are going to be talking about the brand new Anakin Skywalker from Hot Toys. This is absolutely crazy. They're like DJ Khaled, another one. You know, Anakin Skywalker, I feel like people don't forget, but maybe if you're outside of the collecting or Star Wars space, even if you're maybe just a casual, I mean, Anakin Skywalker is probably the biggest, most coveted character in all of Star Wars. I mean, Anakin / Vader, I guess you could say, because I think Vader is just as popular. Obviously, they are the same character, but you know what I mean. They're two distinct kind of versions of the same character. So yeah, it's just very interesting that these companies just, you know, they can always... Luke Skywalker used to be that way. He still is in a sense, but I think Anakin has fully taken over as like the juggernaut of Star Wars, and I think Darth Vader was always that way, but now Anakin, specifically Episode 3 Anakin, is just very coveted in the community. So Hot Toys, obviously a little history of, you know, if you're not super familiar with Hot Toys, they did two Anakins way back in, you know, 2017, 2018, I want to say. So it's been a long time. Before this year, it's been a long time since the Hot Toys, you know, community has gotten a new Anakin figure, specifically Episode 3. And so those first two Anakins came out. They were the exact same figure, but one was obviously the Sith version. It also did come with the lava Pandroid base. I do have the dark side version of that figure. I've always used that one as my hood up Anakin, obviously, and for a long time it was our only Anakin from Episode 3 in the line. So that's why this release, I think, has just been very exciting and you know, really good for your average fan, because earlier this year we also got two new versions of Anakin, but those were both Artisan figures with the rooted hair. I actually own both of those figures. Anakin is my favorite character in Star Wars, so I pretty much get anything Anakin Skywalker, any Anakin Skywalker figure, I'm pretty much going to pick up from Hot Toys. So we got both of the Artisan pieces, obviously light side, dark side, and those were actually two different figures, two different head sculpts. Obviously same robes and all that, but the first one was kind of not controversial, but it sparked conversation in the community. When it first was shown off, looked like one of the best head sculpts of all time. Best one, probably the best figure I've ever seen, prototype wise. And so I think fans just got really excited, which obviously with Hot Toys, it's slowed down lately, but it's kind of a thing in the community you can always expect. Once the mold runs through, you know, it's not as sharp as like a prototype mold that I would assume would be made. You know, I don't know why you know, those ones are hand painted, blah blah blah, all that. So they're presenting their best work. Now you can't do your absolute best work on like a high scale like that, obviously. So I think we've gotten used to figures not looking bad, but it just, you know, maybe wasn't quite as strong as the prototyped look. So yeah, I think when that first Anakin was revealed, the Artisan, people got so excited. I mean, so excited. That figure, I remember, it was a crazy time. And a lot of people missed out on that because the Artisan figures are obviously limited. So a lot of people missed out and got upset. But in my eyes, I always look at things from a business sense. Like I said earlier, Anakin is a juggernaut of a character for Star Wars, almost like a guaranteed seller. So people want their Anakins. Now, obviously, the first one being a limited release, a lot of people missed out. So it was still kind of this like, man, do we still have to use that old one? Which, yes, Hot Toys always has been really good, but 2018 Hot Toys is not today Hot Toys 2025. So that figure, I think it still holds up. Mine with the hood up still, I think, holds up over time. If you want to see my thoughts more into that, go check out my Artisan Anakin review. But I think that figure still holds up with the hood on. But you know, you want your prime Jedi Anakin. So, you know, people missed out on Artisan. Now we move forward to Star Wars Celebration. They announced a new Celebration exclusive, Anakin specifically. Now this is a distinction I want you guys to remember, because we'll compare this to something that comes a little later in this video. We got the Ahsoka Anakin. A lot of people did think that was like an Episode 3 Dark Side Anakin. They called it Darth Vader Artisan Edition. But it was from the Ahsoka series, as the facial expression was spot on to a specific expression he makes in the Ahsoka series. So a lot of us just really caught on to that. They later tried to act like it was a Revenge of the Sith, but no, it's an Ahsoka specific Anakin. It was only shown to come with the red blade, so obviously it came with the blue one as well. But you know, that was, I think, supposed to be marketed as a Ahsoka specific Anakin, but I think they kind of they didn't change that. But they kind of just stopped calling it like an Ahsoka, because there was a thing at the beginning where it said Ahsoka specific. But, so we have 2 Artisan Anakins now. But again, super limited. And this Ahsoka Darkside Anakin was very much even more limited than the original Artisan Anakin. So, you know, a lot of collectors still just felt like, man, why can't we get a sculpted Anakin? Because another thing is, you know, the Artisan figures, while are very realistic and very amazing and super cool, we don't know how long that hair is gonna, you know, stay good, or if it's gonna crumble off one day or poof out, or who knows what could happen. I still like them because they are just really cool and really realistic. I mean, you want your most realistic looking Anakin on the shelf, you're gonna get that with the Artisan figures. But I will say something that made me super excited about this newest release is that with the Artisan Anakins, I'm saying that word a lot, just bear with me. As much as I love those, I don't touch them. I just, you know, they're in a pose, they're on the shelf, they'll probably stay that way for a long time. I might change it once or twice. Whereas with other figures, I might pose around a bit more. I don't want to touch that hair at all. I haven't moved the eyes either, because I don't want to mess with the hair. My versions look really, really good, so I did get lucky. I've seen some worse ones, but I've also seen when people pose it a lot and are moving the head around with their hand, it starts to get poofy. The product comes off on your fingers. So like I said, as much as I love those Anakins and they're great, and if they don't last forever, that's fine with me. They're gonna release more Artisan Anakins, which we will get to a little later. But yeah, still super limited, really cool, but just not for the community as a whole, like a readily available Episode 3 Anakin. So that takes us to yesterday. Yesterday, I wake up, and of course, whenever one of these Hot Toys releases, I have a group chat with some buddies. Lit up, bro. It's lit up. And so I'm like, man, like what, you know, and then I see, you know, I get notifications from Hot Toys. I'm like, oh, shoot. And then I literally click on it, and I was like, bruh. Sculpted, Episode 3, Anakin Skywalker, from Hot Toys. So hyped. I know that was a very long intro to get to this point, and I apologize for that. But I just wanted to give you guys a good setup of you know, the community's views when something like this is released or announced in this case. This figure, and I will obviously have pictures up of it. This figure looks absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I do think it could be improved. It is very interesting to me. Something that, you know, this is a different style of figure. This is your typical Hot Toys figure. And it's funny with the most recent Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. I think I'm going to get both, but I almost was like, I don't feel like I need an Artisan Episode 2 Obi-Wan. And also, I really think the sculpted hair looked a lot better, and what I picture of an Episode 2 Obi-Wan to look like. The sculpted looked really good, and the Artisan just, it was the same sculpt. It's weird, but it just didn't look as good. So I was like, yes, like an Episode 2 Obi-Wan, I'm getting the sculpted for sure. I might get the Artisan to just check it out, but then I might move on from that, honestly. But the sculpted, I was like, yes. And that was interesting because I am a fan of the Artisan, so it was just, you know, but I still can be objective, and, you know, the sculpted does look better in this case. So with this one, this is the same sculpt as the Darkside Ahsoka Anakin from Celebration. But it's painted way different, and it's very interesting how that can change how the sculpt looks. And I do think it's just a little bit worse, which is crazy to say because it's just paint. It's just paint work that makes it look different. It's still a really good Anakin sculpt. Obviously, we've seen it painted a little bit better with the Ahsoka version. And I just think that one really looks like Anakin, or Hayden Christensen in this case. But this one still looks really good. I think they can and will improve upon it through the process until release. So I am hopeful of that. But either way, if this came out looking just like this, I would be 10 out of 10 happy. I'm still very happy. You know, the Artisan figures are cool for my, like, definitive Anakins on the shelf. Those are, like, picture perfect Hayden Christensen Anakins. But this one, like I said, is more like a regular Hot Toy. So I am more inclined to pose this guy up and mess around with him a lot more. And in a weird way, I'm just as excited for this as I was for the Artisan Anakins, because it almost serves a different purpose for my collection. It's the Anakin I can, you know, pose around and just have a little bit more fun with. And like I said, that's not a knock on the Artisans. Those serve their purpose of being very cool, ultra realistic versions of this character that I love. And but yeah, I'm like just as excited for this new Anakin. And something really cool, I'm curious to compare the two, because obviously I do have that older dark side Anakin from 2018 that had the lava base, and this one comes with the lava base as well, the Pandroid, but it's different. It's a different sculpt, which I was not expecting, and I'm very curious to compare the two. I'm inclined. I already kind of think the old one looks better, but it's still cool to compare the two. And if I do like the old one, I have the old one. I can throw him on that one. But yeah, throwing up pictures of this guy, obviously he looks fantastic. I am so excited. Very interesting thing about this figure as well is he has interchangeable eyes. Funny enough, a lot of people were doing that with the previous Ahsoka Anakin and the first Artisan Anakin. They're switching the eyes between the two, or giving, before the dark side came out, putting them all Sith eyes in the new one, or the Artisan. And so Hot Toys did that here. They were like, yep, we see what you guys are doing. We're going to throw in interchangeable eyes, so you can go from light side to dark side. I think that is so cool. And instead of Hot Toys trying to sell two different figures again, just give them the ultimate release, one and done. And that is another cool thing. There are interchangeable hair pieces, and from the pictures it looks good. Sometimes there could be a seam or whatnot, but I think Anakin's hair will work in its favor to hide that seam. But you can have more of like the clean look from most of Revenge of the Sith, the light side look, I guess you could say, or you could have the more messy look with dark side Anakin. So that is just so cool in my opinion. I'm so excited to get this figure in hand. And obviously a big thing that a lot of people were very happy about is the eye color of the Sith eyes. Looks more like Revenge of the Sith, obviously, because this one is a Revenge of the Sith accurate Revenge of the Sith accurate Anakin Skywalker. So the Sith eyes are yellow, whereas in the Ahsoka series they were like orange. They were like a blood orange. And obviously Hot Toys, the first Sith dark side Artisan Anakin from Celebration, had those orange Sith eyes, so they didn't look quite like Revenge of the Sith. But this one, again, Hot Toys just listening, because they could have just reused those eyes, but they said, you know what, we're gonna listen to the fans and we're gonna do the accurate yellow eyes from Revenge of the Sith. And I just think this release is like top notch, like perfect Hot Toys release. They pulled out all the stops for this one. And then last thing I did want to talk about, two last things before we get to the last thing that kind of is crazy to me, but cool at the same time. Just means I'm getting another Artisan Anakin. But before that, I want to talk about the tease that Hot Toys teased in this announcement. In one of the pictures, and I'll throw the picture up because it's peak, it's just freaking peak. They did tease a Mustafar Obi-Wan Kenobi 2.0. Oh man. Oh baby. This is going to be the centerpiece of all centerpiece. If you're a prequel kid, my first movie theater experience, the first movie I ever went and saw was Revenge of the Sith. And this scene, bro, having these two, Anakin and Obi-Wan, on the Mustafar bases, oh man, it is going to be 10 out of 10. I cannot wait to throw these guys in a display. It is going to be honestly amazing. We didn't see a lot of the Obi-Wan. We just saw his back. He was like facing away from the camera. Because obviously they're focusing on this Anakin release. But it looked like his robes were like dirty from fighting. Like it looked just like Obi-Wan on Mustafar. So I think there will be a Mustafar edition Obi-Wan, and then just like a regular Obi-Wan. That's not like battle damaged or whatnot. So yeah, just super cool. Cannot wait for that duo on the shelf. And although I do think the original Obi-Wan from Episode 3 still holds up, it's a hot take apparently. Like, the sculpt looks good, bro. I don't get why people crap on that. But it will be cool to get an updated Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this Anakin just, again, like a perfect release in my opinion. So last thing we will talk about before I let you get on with your life. If you're still here, thank you. I mean, 21 minutes talking about one hot toy is pretty crazy. I know I went a little rambly with the explanation behind the hype behind this figure, but I think it's worth mentioning and kind of a time capsule of what the community was like feeling during this whole experience waiting for an Episode 3 Anakin. So at the end of all that, you know, we got our Anakin finally. We got it. Hot Toys a few minutes later posted on their website Artisan Anakin Mustafar, or no, Artisan Darth Vader. That's what they're calling the dark side versions. Artisan Darth Vader Mustafar edition or something like that. Specifically like parentheses Mustafar. So we are getting a third Artisan Anakin. I assume it will be this exact same figure with the base, everything, exact same, just with rooted hair. So it'll be that original Ahsoka Celebration sculpt, obviously with the rooted hair again, but with maybe specific paint apps to look like this new Sculpted release, because it's weird, it's the same sculpt, I believe, pretty sure it is, but they look different just simply from the paint, which is crazy. So maybe it'll literally just be this sculpted Anakin, exact same, just with rooted hair, which is, yeah, interesting because it'll just come with the lava base and then the yellow Sith eyes. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I do think, I don't feel this way. All my Artisan Anakins will have a purpose. Like I said, this is just one of those characters that I will always pick up. It might be weird. I have 3 Artisan Anakins already, so I'm going to be adding a 4th one. I have 2 of the regular and 1 Ahsoka Darkside version. So yeah, this will just be another Artisan Anakin I can put somewhere in the collection. I mean, and then I'll have the Sculpted that I can really like mess around with, which is cool. And I'm honestly debating getting 2 of the Sculpted. I'm dead serious. Like, I love this character as a kid, bro. As a kid, Anakin was like peak, he was just the dude. He was the dude. And so yeah, I would have 50 Anakins in my collection. I would. If they put out 50 Anakins, bro, I'm buying them up. So yeah, this is just a dream come true, really cool figure. And I'm really excited to see the Artisan version of this. And yeah, it's awesome. It's truly cool. Hot Toys really, I think the main thing I always, praise them for is listening to the fans. I do think this is a case where the yellow eyes and the change out eyes are specifically things that they got and implemented because of the community these last few months, ever since the first Artisan Anakin released. So doing the yellow eyes, it's crazy to it just and I think the likeness for this figure looks so I don't know why the yellow eyes make this look better, but I think this specifically does look like a dark side version of Anakin. So when you put the Sith eyes in the sculpted version, I think it looks better. At least from the pictures. This may look different when we get it in hand. They might refine the sculpt. You never know. But even though I'm saying that, I don't want anyone to think I'm saying this is a bad sculpt. Because if it came out just like it looks now, I would still be happy. Because I do think it is a 10 out of 10 sculpt with the Sith eyes in. It's just weird that makes a difference. And I think it's like a 9 out of 10 with the regular light side eyes in. So yeah, just very excited for this figure. Excited to see the Obi-Wan eventually. That is gonna be epic. With his base will be even bigger because he has the big square platform. Just cool, really cool that they're doing this. Getting an updated Obi-Wan and Anakin is just awesome. So even though, like I said, I do think the old ones can hold up, the old Obi-Wan I think holds up, but obviously the rolling eyeballs, they've just proportions. People don't talk about the proportions have gotten so much better. So just everything, obviously we want the newest version, the most updated technology of these characters. So getting the upgrades is just cool, even though I do think the dark side Anakin with the hood up holds up still on the shelf, and so does Obi-Wan. So yes, those are my thoughts. I know it was a long video. Like I said, if you're still with me, dude, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. You're dope. Just, check out some of my reviews. Do some of that. Subscribe maybe if you feel like it. But yeah, thanks for rambling with me. Listen to me ramble. I couldn't imagine listening to myself for 28 minutes, so you guys are real ones. So yeah, I don't know. I keep talking, bro. Anyway, reviews coming to the channel. My next video will be a Mandalorian and Grogu, kind of my thoughts on that trailer and kind of where Star Wars is right now. I have a lot to talk about. It'll probably be another 30-minute video. I have a lot to talk about that trailer, and more importantly, the vibe I'm feeling out there right now about that trailer. So yeah, stay tuned for that video, and then after that video we will get back to the reviews. I still need to review the Dark Side Celebration Ahsoka Anakin. I still need to review both the Ahsokas from the Ahsoka series, the Ahsoka the White, and then the flashback Clone Wars Ahsoka. Very excited for those. Battle Damage Darth Vader, bro. Phase 1 Captain Rex from Ahsoka, bro. and then the Airborne, bro. And then I have some like rainy day reviews. I have like 7 figures on rainy day review list. I have the entire Bad Batch, the main 4, Tech, Crosshair, Wrecker, Hunter. Those are like rainy day, you know, if I don't have any other figures or videos to make, I'll do one of those reviews. I want to do the Bad Batch all together though, not in the same video, but for continuous videos. And then I do have Yoda, Dooku, and Jango Fett, all from Attack of the Clones, that I have to review still. So stay tuned, those could always drop, you never know. Like I said, those are the rainy days. But the Battle Damage Darth Vader, the 2 Ahsokas, the Rex, and the Airborne, and the Dark Side Artisan Anakin from Ahsoka, those are like up on the list. Those will be dropping soonish on the channel. So stay tuned for those. As always, guys, appreciate you. Shout out to my channel members. Y'all are the top G's. But I appreciate each and one of you that watches my videos and listens to me just yap. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. But anyway, love you guys. As always, may the Force be with you. Ayy.